Hi, I'm Rich Sahowski with FlorStar Sales. Today I'd like to review with you Arbor Hills waterproof SPC flooring. Now there are a lot of waterproof lines out there, and there are reasons FlorStar created this brand new line. We're part of a distributor group called Bravo, and within that group are a lot of distributors who have some products do very, very well. There are some looks that are doing exceptionally well out in California and Texas, where a lot of new trends start. And that's important to know because we like looks that increase sales. So while there are a lot of lines out there, like cars or anything else, your customers are looking for the newest model. With that in mind, we created some first round draft choices from what some of our distributor friends are selling out west and in Texas. We also created some of our own new looks for the Midwest, and we came up with Arbor Hills. What I'd also share with you is we looked at lines that FlorStar currently sells. We also examined competitive lines as well. And the reason that is important is we wanted to bring to you new looks, new visuals, looks with a story that you can use to close sales with your customers. The Arbor Hills brand and line, once again, is a line that's created by FlorStar. We import it directly. We have a huge amount of inventory in our warehouse. So we're looking forward to the opportunity to grow this line with you out in the marketplace. One of the things you may notice as you look at the display in the line is you see some lighter looks. That is by design. We know that wood overall is getting lighter, so we wanted to emulate that with the creation of this line. The other thing I'd share with you is that because we are in the Midwest, we took a look at some traditional looks here in the Midwest and included those in the line as well, so we do have some darker colors. One of the things that your designers and your customers notice are color and design. In regards to color, we did a couple things. First off, as you can see from this piece here, we have two-tone effects. We think that really helps the floor pop. It adds to the whole design enhancement. That's something, once again, a designer or your customer is going to notice when they look at this display. The other thing we do with color is we have what I'd call a mix of color. We've carefully mixed color with certain visuals. This visual here that I was just referring to has both gray and beige. So the customer can't make up their mind if they want gray or beige. Fine, we can call this grayish, and we can hit that color visual that the customer is looking for. The other thing that I'd say with designers is they like texture and they like visual texture. This is a perfect example of what we've been able to do with visual texture. This piece has some saw marks right in the middle of the wood. We have a line called Villa Picelli that does very, very well. It has those types of cuttings and markings. So within our lines, we have certain visuals that have this type of texture and look. It does very, very well. That's included within the Arbor Hills SPC line. A little bit about the line and the display itself. There are two price points. There's an opening price point, and by the way, the piece I just showed you is part of the opening price point, and then there's a second price point. With the opening price point, what I'd like to share with you is that we worked very hard to have great looks at the opening price point. When we studied our competitors, we thought our competitors didn't have some great looks at the opening price point. We felt that was important. I just showed you with you what we can do with visual texture on one of the opening price point products. Let me share with you a couple of the other visuals that we have. This is fawn. I like to call it, if you will, golden natural. Being a golden natural, what you see here is a nice color texture overall. This hits that customer that may like a neutral. This is, if you will, a golden oldie. But take a look here at what we've done with the knots here within the wood. We have wood suppliers that have said you've got it spot on with replicating what happens in real wood. Then you can, if you show your customer will notice in designers the mineral streaks within the wood. And this is at the opening price point. So this is something that you would find in some of the brand new timber brush wood out there for a significantly higher cost. Another color that I'll show you within the opening price point is gray. I mentioned gray. People keep asking, when's gray going away? Who knows, but it's still here. This is a different take on gray, a two-tone gray, as I mentioned, a lighter gray with the traditional darker gray that's been popular. At the opening price point, it has a 12 mil ceramic bead surface. It is 7 inches wide, and the planks are 48 inches long, so 4 foot long. So that's just an example of what we can do for you at the opening price point. The next price point is where you get into 20 mil enhanced ceramic bead visuals. I'll share with you a couple examples. We have two families in the 20 mil line. The first family is Arbor Hills 20, and I share these two with you because what you have here is, if you will, more of a solid color coming through. Here's a lighter solid color where we do touch with some wood variation and texture. And then we like this look very much. When I mentioned wood is going wider, it is, but there's still a call sometimes for a darker look, and we didn't want to have a line that didn't have visuals that have a deep, rich look. You don't see the knocks or the cuts or the saw marks in this color. What you see here is a deep, rich look. Within this line, you also get cut and painted beveled edges at the price point, the 20 mil price point. What we found is that the reaction to this color has been very strong, where if you have contemporary kitchens, there's a condominium project that's very interested in this line right now. With every sample within this display, there's information on the back of the sample that helps you walk through the process with your customer. What it shares is this Arbor Hills 20 collection, the Oxford, which is the name of this particular SKU, the SKU number, the thickness, the plank size, bevel type, cut and painted, square feet per carton wear layer, pad type. They all, of course, come with attached pad. And then this is important as well, exact match moldings. In the creation of this line, we wanted to have moldings that were an exact match, and that's what we've been able to achieve with the entire product line. So that's Arbor Hills 20. Within the same price point, we moved to Arbor Hills XL. So you may say, well, what does XL stand for? Extra large. What happens here is you end up with 9-inch wide planks and then 5-foot long planks. And it's identified right here on the actual front of the sample. And once again, the back of the samples will walk you through this with your customer, but in XL, you get the wider widths that are becoming very, very popular in wood. You get the cut and painted beveled edges. And you can see here, once again, the color and the texture that our designers were able to create with this line. This family right here, or this visual, I should say, has received excellent reaction. We had, with Armstrong in the laminate line, a line called Architectural Remnants, where we had some color variations, if you will, some heavier color variation within that line. That's what's going on here. Look at the color and the texture and the knots and the grains on this particular plank. This, for installed, is really dynamic, and it's received great response from the design community. I mentioned cuts and saw marks. Here within Arbor Hills 20XL, what we do with the cuts and the saw marks here is the cuts and the saw marks actually become larger and more noticeable with a 9-inch wide plank and a 5-foot long plank. We also, once again, you can see the knots and the grains and the color textures and the cut and the painted beveled edges. So that's the Arbor Hills line. FlorStar designed this line. It is a line that you will not find in home centers. You will not find it at the big box retailers. We created this line because we're looking for a way to increase our sales in the marketplace. Where we have placed this line, it has been noticed right away, and we've been very successful. If you already have the display placed in your store, please take a look at some of the visuals that I discussed and some of the information on the back of the samples. If you don't, we'd appreciate the opportunity to place this line with you. Thank you.